Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, presenting the 2026 fiscal year budget address in the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis on 16 December 2025, announced an extra 1 month's payment of salaries and wages to government workers, pensioners, and persons on the STEP program. Commonly referred to as the double salary, the payment was a hopeful wish expressed by some citizens and residents who firmly believed that it would be a great financial relief during the Christmas and Carnival end-of-year festivities. The announcement came as he concluded his budget address when he described the payment as a prudent measure and in recognition of the work of public sector workers.
I am pleased to announce, Madam Speaker, that an extra payment of 1 month's salary, commonly called the double salary. This additional payment will apply to our civil servants, to our government auxiliary employees, our pensioners, our workers on our STEP program. And I would like to say, Madam Speaker, that this payment will be issued on Friday, 19 December 2025. Madam Speaker, I will come to the others. To the caveats to this one, for the first time. Of course, we want to encourage the statutory bodies to also appropriate their staff appropriately as well. And this is a caveat. Ministers of government and government advisors under this new arrangement this year will be excluded from this extra payment.
The double salary comes also after the current administration introduced other assistance programs and an increase in wages and salaries of civil servants in lieu of the double salary, which became a common payment under the previous Team Unity administration. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
The Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, CAF, has approved the incorporation of St. Kitts and Nevis and Haiti as new shareholder countries, a move that will allow both nations to access agile and flexible development financing, technical assistance, and knowledge programs tailored to the needs of small island and climate-vulnerable states. With these latest approvals, CAF will triple the number of its Caribbean shareholder countries compared to 2023. The decisions were taken during a recent CAF Board of Directors meeting at Panama City, where the institution also approved more than $3 billion in new operations across the region. The funding will support projects in electricity, infrastructure, water security, sustainable transport, assistance for vulnerable communities, and financing for small and medium-sized enterprises and other productive sectors. These approvals further strengthen CAF's expanding role in the Caribbean. In June 2025, during a board meeting in Seville, Spain, St. Lucia was approved for incorporation. Over the past year, the Bahamas, Antigua and Barbuda, and Grenada have also joined CAF's shareholder base. The institution now has 6 Caribbean shareholder countries, with several others at various stages of incorporation process. CAF Executive President Sergio Diaz-Granados welcomed the new members, noting that their incorporation reinforces CAF's commitment to the Caribbean at a critical time for the region. St. Kitts and Nevis and Haiti are joining a homegrown development bank, he said, that was set up by the region for the region. He added that CAF is more than a bank. It is a bridge that brings Latin America and the Caribbean closer together. We are focused on delivering solutions that reflect the realities of vulnerable Caribbean small island states. CAF brings a fresh approach to development financing, one that works directly with each country to convert its development priorities into sustained progress and impactful development outcomes for their communities. The board of directors also confirmed that Barbados has met the requirements to transition to full membership within CAF, joining Trinidad and Tobago as the only other full member from CARICOM. CAF's presence in the Caribbean has continued to expand since the establishment of its regional office in Trinidad and Tobago in 2022. Since then, the institution has supported a wide range of initiatives across the region, including climate financing, resilient infrastructure, modernization of public services, water security, cultural and heritage tourism, education, digital transformation, and programs that support the blue and green economy, among other key development priorities. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
This December, the Caribbean's most prestigious pageant returns home to St. Kitts. The 43rd Belmont Resort Hainesmith Miss Caribbean Talented Teen Pageant, Monday, December 29, 7 p.m. sharp at the St. Kitts Marriott.
Witness 9 talented and intelligent teens from the shores of Guyana to the rhythms of the Virgin Islands, and representing host country St. Kitts, Soraya Williams Powell, featuring special guest hosts and electrifying regional stars.
Sensational local flavor by Lala, Petition Superstar winner Ikwanja Bradley,
Former National Villager Rama King, Lord Demet Tuhad,
and the phenomenal De Jour.
Admission $60 EC, $80 on the day of the show.
Tickets available online at JAD.
Who will rise?
Who will shine?
Who will claim the coveted crown?
Sweetness to the core for Sugar Mass 54.
Don't miss it.
Major sponsors include Belmont Resort, National Caribbean Insurance, The Cable, Office of the Prime Minister, Hospitals, Sugar Mass National Carnival Committee.
Sugar Mass, we're coming home.
Your favorite TV shows are just a click away with TVC Plus at tvcplus.live. Stream our 24-hour live programming. Catch the latest episodes of TVC Originals on demand. Enjoy premium pay-per-view content and so much more. Watch on any device, TV, laptop, tablet, or smartphone. Visit www.tvcplus.live. Stream, watch, enjoy.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Good day to the beautiful people of St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Martin News Desk now airs on
Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays on TVC
at 11 a.m. and then again at 5 p.m. So
make sure to tune in.
It's Entertainment TV at its finest. Join us for Main Event, the Caribbean's leading entertainment show only on Television Caribbean TVC. Tune in as our host chats with top artists and entertainers, bring you the latest buzz in entertainment, and showcase the hottest music videos from the region's biggest stars. Main Event airs on Thursdays at 8 p.m. with rebroadcast on Fridays at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. When it comes to entertainment, it's always the Main Event on TVC.
According to the government media, Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew has established an advisory committee to review projects to be approved under the Special Sustainability Zones Authorization Act of 2025. The information provided through the Government Information Service indicates the committee will review submitted projects and make recommendations to the government in regard to proposed amendments, procedural improvements, and safeguards. 14 institutions are listed to have representation on the advisory committee. These institutions are the St. Kitts Christian Council, the St. Kitts Evangelical Association, St. Kitts and Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce, the St. Kitts and Nevis Trades and Labor Union, the Bankers and Financial Services Association, Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Organization of Rastafari in Unity, St. Kitts and Nevis Medical and Dental Association, St. Kitts and Nevis Bar Association, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Eastern Caribbean, St. Kitts Nevis Branch, St. Kitts Nevis Institute of Architects, St. Kitts and Nevis Building Contractors Association, and the St. Christopher National Trust. The government news item reports the committee will ensure transparency, accountability, and support informed decision-making. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
There have been several individuals sentenced and fined for multiple crimes over the past few days in St. Kitts and Nevis. Shaquem Cranston has been sentenced to 63 years imprisonment at His Majesty's Prison for the murder of Darnell Govaya, committed on June 20th, 2017 at the GNF General Hospital. Following his conviction on October 10th, 2025, the sentence was delivered on December 15th by High Court Judge, His Lordship Justice Ian Morley. Time spent on remand will be deducted, and Cranston will be eligible for 1/3 remission only after serving 42 years. In a separate matter, Seabert Williams of Taylor's Village and Dennis Conrad Clark were sentenced in relation to offences committed on August 8, 2025 on Central Street, Bastyr, at the District A Magistrates Court on December 9, 2025. Williams, who pleaded guilty to wounding, carrying abroad an offensive weapon, and throwing missiles, was fined a total of $4,000 and ordered to pay $3,000 in compensation to Clark within 4 months or face imprisonment. Clark, who pleaded guilty to carrying abroad an offensive weapon, was fined $1,000. Sebastian Atkinson of Upper Keon was sentenced to prison on December 11, 2025 at the Bastyr Magistrates Court for multiple traffic-related offences, including driving without insurance, driving without a valid license, and vehicle lighting violations. Sentences ranged from 1 to 2 months imprisonment. Meanwhile, brothers Devon Junie Trotman, age 25, and Dejon Bull Trotman, 26, were sentenced to lengthy prison terms for wounding with intent to murder in connection with an incident on March 7, 2021 involving the late Keon Fifield. Having been convicted on August 1, 2025, the brothers were sentenced on December 15, 2025 by Justice Ian Morley, KC. Devon Trotman received a sentence of 22.5 years, while Dejon Trotman was sentenced to 21.5 years. Time spent on remand will be deducted, and both are eligible for 1/3 remission for good behavior. Additionally, Arthur Earl of Fig Tree, Sandy Point, was sentenced at the District B Magistrates Court on December 12, 2025 after pleading guilty to multiple offences, including 2 counts of wounding and numerous weapons-related charges. He received 9 months imprisonment for each count of wounding to run concurrently, less time served, and time served for all remaining offences. The rulings conclude a series of significant cases before the nation's courts as the year draws to a close. I'm Audrey Huey for SKN Newsline.
This December, the Caribbean's most prestigious pageant returns home to St. Kitts. The 43rd Belmont Resort Hainsmith Miss Caribbean Talented Teen Pageant, Monday, December 29, 7 p.m. sharp at the St. Kitts Marriott.
Witness 9 talented and intelligent teens from the shores of Guyana to the rhythms of the Virgin Islands, and representing host country St. Kitts, Soraya Williams Powell, featuring special guest hosts and electrifying regional stars.
Sensational local flavor by Lala, Petition Superstar winner Ikwanja Bradley,
former National Villager Rama King, Lord Demet Tuhad,
and the phenomenal De Jour.
Admission $60 EC, $80 on the day of the show.
Tickets available online at JAD.
Who will rise?
Who will shine?
Who will claim the coveted crown?
Sweetness to the core for Sugar Mass 54.
Don't miss it.
Major sponsors include Belmont Resort, National Caribbean Insurance, The Cable, Office of the Prime Minister, Hospitals, Sugar Mass National Carnival Committee.
Sugar Mass, we're coming home.
The government says it plans to start issuing reconstruction grants to Jamaicans whose homes were damaged during Hurricane Melissa by early January. But the grants depend on the completion of housing assessments now being carried out by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Labour and Social Security Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says the ministry's assessment teams have been working around the clock, moving from community to community to document the extent of destruction. As at December 9, a total of 40,144 household damage assessments had been completed, marking a significant milestone in the national recovery effort.
We have 544 assessors trained and operating on our platform, and we anticipate to double that amount. Cabinet has approved now the scaling up of household damage assessment submission that was made recently, which will see us having the ministry's integrated assessment acceleration strategy supported by ministries, departments, and agencies that have field capacity to assist us in completing the remaining household damage assessments.
But with thousands more families still waiting for inspectors to visit their homes, the ministry is preparing for an even greater push. Minister Charles says the government aims to complete 150,000 household assessments by the end of next January.
We intend to have at least 200 teams deployed across the parishes that are our priority parishes: St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover, Trelawney, and St. Anne. And those teams will be fitted with supervision from officers of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, as well as our support partners.
The ministry is urging residents to cooperate with assessors and ensure they are available to provide accurate information about their losses.
We have 60 JDF Service Corps that are assisting 17 JDF officers that are in the West, and we have 30 more from the Service Corps that should be coming on. We have also 30 additional assessors funded through the World Food, and they have begun their operations. We have 20 of our officers from Kingston and St. Andrew, MLSS officers, that are stationed now in Mandeville to reinforce the St. Elizabeth deployment.
Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, Mr. Charles Jr. says as at December 9, the ministry's expenditure and food procurement amounted to 225 million Jamaican dollars.
If we were to integrate the food that has been received in terms of donations and also packaged and deployed, that would increase exponentially. But this is what we have procured from the ministry. It includes $52 million spent pre-hurricane in terms of purchases of food that were pre-positioned across the country, and also $173.1 million in post-hurricane expenditure. Finally, I want to advise that the self-reporting mechanism is live.
The ministry is actively injecting resources to attract young people into aviation careers. The focus includes nurturing STEM skills, investing in technical and vocational training, expanding internship opportunities, and strengthening partnerships between schools and the aviation industry. Mr. Brown says that the goal is to ensure young people see aviation as a space where they belong,
where the ideas, their talents, and their ambitions can take flight. Our future inspectors, pilots, safety analysts, technicians, and innovators are sitting in classrooms today. Some of them visited the BCAA this week. Some of them are discovering for the first time that aviation is not out of their reach, but well within their grasp.
The Barbados Civil Aviation Authority, a division of the Ministry of Tourism and International Transport, is responsible for ensuring the safety, efficiency, and regularity of international air transport to Barbados. Reflecting on the authority's work, Mr. Brown called for a renewed commitment
to empower the next generation with knowledge, with opportunity, and with a clear pathway into aviation. Because our sky, the airspace we safeguard, the connections we rely on, the future we envision belongs to them. To the team at the BCAA, the Director General, the board, the technical officers, the administrative staff, and the consultants who have supported the authority's development, thank you for your dedication.
The awards ceremony recognized outstanding service within the Aviation Authority. Monica Mason Critchlow was honored for excellence in aviation safety and security, innovation, high-quality work, and professionalism. Kimberly Franklin received the Team Player Award for her reliability, dependability, and consistent support across departments. The People's Choice Award went to Shamari Innis, recognized for a friendly demeanor, being approachable, and having an uplifting spirit and a consistently positive attitude. And for leadership, resilience, and stewardship of the authority, Director General of the Civil Aviation Authority, Tracy Ford Bailey, received a special award. Onesta Henry, CBC News.
Your favorite TV shows are just a click away with TVC Plus at tvcplus.live. Stream our 24-hour live programming. Catch the latest episodes of TVC Originals on demand. Enjoy premium pay-per-view content and so much more. Watch on any device, TV, laptop, tablet, or smartphone. Visit www.tvcplus.live. Stream, watch, enjoy.
Tune in to Insights on TVC, where we explore the unique stories and perspectives of our fascinating guests.
I used to get in trouble for talking. I am really angry. I forget English.
I had good examples of what people could become.
Each episode brings you an in-depth look at individuals from diverse backgrounds, sharing their personal journeys and valuable life insights.
I don't know. We're going to bathe here because Papa Bratcher says nobody owns the beach in St. Kitts.
People who sound like this and saying that they're like 15, I'm like, you have a beard.
Insights airs on Mondays at 8 p.m. with rebroadcast on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Only on Television Caribbean, TVC. You can also stream on demand at tvcplus.live.
At The Cable, we believe in giving back because when our community thrives, we all do. That's why, as a company, we make it our mission to touch the lives of everyone in St. Kitts. We spearheaded the renovation of JNF Hospital lobby to ensure better care for all. The Cable sponsors free Wi-Fi in every community center across St. Kitts, so no one is left behind in an increasingly connected world. We stand with communities through every moment, big or small, in culture, education, youth development, and more. Y a ti también, comunidad latina. Cuenta con nosotros. Estamos con ustedes. And when it comes to customer service, we set the standard. We're just a call, click, or visit away because you matter to us. Join the company that truly cares. The Cable. More than service. We're family. Somos familia. And we're proud to always give more where it matters.
It's Entertainment TV at its finest. Join us for Main Event, the Caribbean's leading entertainment show only on Television Caribbean TVC. Tune in as our host chats with top artists and entertainers, bring you the latest buzz in entertainment, and showcase the hottest music videos from the region's biggest stars. Main Event airs on Thursdays at 8 p.m. with rebroadcast on Fridays at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. When it comes to entertainment, it's always the Main Event on TVC.
Strong winds and heavy rain are battering Gaza for yet another day, compounding the hardships faced by Palestinians. Hundreds of thousands of people are sheltering in tents because more than 2 years of Israeli bombardment damaged more than 80% of the buildings in the Strip. Last week, Storm Byron hit, collapsing several ruined houses. At least 14 Palestinians were killed. Tarek Abu-Azim is in Gaza City. I mean, Tarek, they are extraordinarily distressing scenes, aren't they, of people that have already been through so much, facing the full force of nature with very little to protect them. I mean, what are conditions like there now in the aftermath of all of this?
Well, conditions are extremely dire, and we know that the winter has become another layer of the crisis in Gaza as it's accelerating displacement again. But this time, families whose tents flooded overnight are moving again, looking and searching for slightly higher ground to take it as a refuge. And this is, by the way, very difficult to find these days due to the overcrowded spaces. And we saw how strong winds have uprooted dozens of makeshift tents, in particular in areas that are too close to the coastal enclave. And in many areas, we saw how children were walking barefoot as they were surrounded by pools of water and mud. And this is immediately considered to be as a huge health risk for them, which will trigger further respiratory illnesses and skin infections in areas that in particular are facing severe shortages in terms of medical services. But this morning we start to see how families have started to cope with the repercussions of this huge storm that hit Gaza, and for many of them they are still calling for the immediate entry of adequate number of makeshift shelters in order to house those families who have left stranded. And we have been told by the director of Gaza's municipality that there are thousands of families who are right now homeless, without shelter, and even without partially destroyed buildings in order to take refuge inside and to afford a sense of normalcy and protection for the young children and for the elderly people who have been hugely impacted by the repercussions and the aftermaths of this storm.
And Tarek, given the huge impact, what kind of help is there available for people?
Well, here nothing works the way it should. In fact, we saw how emergency systems have been crippled, government services are choked, and agencies are still facing constant restrictions. So families are simply left to fend for themselves, digging trenches, propping up collapsing tents, and in some certain cases they are sharing what's left of scraps of plastics in order to support their fragile tents that have been heavily impacted by the storm here. And for many Palestinians, this is not a crisis that resulted from shortages of resources, but a systematic ban resulted from the Israeli policy to prevent the alleviation of the humanitarian emergency on the ground. So people are still quite skeptical about the next downpour, that either it's gonna take away what's left for them or not. So on the ground, resources are really stretched, and civil defense members are quite concentrating on life-saving emergencies rather than providing infrastructure support. And this comes as a clear result of the wide-scale destruction inflicted upon the equipment, the fuel, and all resources that were used before to be mobilized in order to address the emergency system here in Gaza. So people on the ground are still really struggling to cope with this growing crisis, and they are expecting that more harsh days are ahead, specifically as the peak of the storm will be tomorrow. And for many Palestinians, they started from now on to provide some sort of improvised assistance that is right now taking shape in light of the absence and also the shortage of essential humanitarian needs that were promised to be delivered to Gaza during the first phase of the ceasefire agreement.
All right, Tarek, thanks for clarifying all of that. The peak of the storm, as you say, still to come, considering all that people in Gaza have been through. Tarek Abu-Azim in Gaza's city.
Hi, I'm Diana Macedo. Let's get right to our top story. We have new images in the manhunt for the Brown University mass shooter. Officials say this man is a person of interest in connection to the attack that killed 2 and injured 9 over the weekend. Now the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information. Let's bring in ABC's Rena Roy in Providence and ABC contributor, former FBI agent Brad Garrett, for more. Hi, Rena, what's the latest on this manhunt?
Yeah, well, Diane, at this point, it has been several days since this deadly attack. And look, time is really of the essence here. We've seen FBI agents and police officers back here at the engineering school where this shooting happened on Saturday, looking for any trace of this man. And as you said, police are now looking to the public for help. They have released those new images. We see this person of interest walking through this area that we are standing in, actually. Police say those images were taken before and after the shooting on Saturday. And these images are clearer than the surveillance footage that we had seen before, but we really can't see this person of interest's face still. We can see that he's wearing all black. He has a black beanie on and a black face mask. And the FBI describes him as a man with a 5'8", stocky build. And law enforcement, again, they've been here all day and yesterday as well, gathering physical evidence. And really, it seems like trying to retrace his steps to piece together his movements in a timeline, Diane.
And Brad, we're now in the 4th day since this shooting. How do investigations like this change the longer a suspect is on the loose?
Well, sometimes they can change for the better, Diane, and obviously you don't want anybody that's commit this level of violence on the street. Now, will he go commit another mass shooting? I suppose that's possible. Based on what we know, I don't think that's a high priority, but it's certainly out there. So that's driving law enforcement, obviously, to ID him and get him in custody. But having said that, what information do they have that actually are leading them toward a particular suspect? Hopefully, they've got some great leads that we don't know about. But, this is a time-consuming aspect if you don't have anything direct, like a name, a location, anything like that, or somebody that calls in and say, I know the shooter, I'm related to the shooter. You follow up on that and you find the right person. But short of that, it's all these painstaking tests, procedures, just like you just talked about in reference to going back to the scene. Is there anything they missed as far as when he came into the building, how he moved around the building? Could he have conceivably left touch DNA someplace? Interviews with survivors in that classroom or study hall are extremely important as far as movement. Did he have on gloves? What sort of position did he get into when he was shooting? Was he methodical, or was he just shooting all over the place? That at least gives you information about maybe how well he was trained or not trained. Does that help you catch him? No. Does it help you once you maybe figure out who he is? The answer is yes. So it's those type of things, and maybe going through school records to see if they can find a disgruntled employee or student.
All right, Rena Roy, Brad Garrett, thank you.
Security Forces United remain at the top of the 2025-2026 SKNFA Under-13 Boys League stand-ins as the year draws to a close. The league featured a busy schedule with matches played both midweek and over the weekend. Action continued on Saturday, December 13th, 2025, with St. Peter's FC defeating St. Paul's United 2-1, Sandy Point edging out Molineux 3-2, and Bath United winning by default after Newtown United failed to show up for their match in Bath. That was preceded by midweek action, the most recent seeing the Security Forces drubbing Ranzuli Superstars 7-1 at the Patsy Alice playing field. After the match, Security Forces player Micaiah Richards said being on top of the table is very important for the team.
We definitely scored a lot of goals, and I'm happy about that. It feels great to be at the top of the table, right? And we have some more stuff to do and working, and we need some more players that will really help us, and yeah.
What some areas do you think you need improvement, apart from getting new players?
We need pace, we need skills, passing. Well, passing was good tonight because it was a light team, so yeah.
Orazio Taylor of Village Superstars, while disappointed with the result, is optimistic the team will bounce back.
I just keep motivating them and telling them strive, keep playing harder, everything.
And was there anything you did right tonight?
Yeah, I score, I pass, I help my team defend, but I accidentally concede a penalty.
Other results midweek that very same evening saw Diaby Young Stars defeating St. Paul's United 3-1. Other midweek results on Wednesday, December 10th, the Keon Rockets FC crushed Trinity Challengers 18-0. Bath United defeated Village Superstars 5-0, and Sandy Point FC getting the better of Newtown United 4-0. The SKNFA Under-13 Boys League continues with midweek action this week, ending on Thursday, December 18th, to close out the year.